What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyrwargames, and before I get into today's topic, I just want to quickly show you the amazing team playmat and sleeves that we have got, done by the amazing work of my friend Zara. She has, as you like, again, I'm just going to be repeating myself, she's done a beautiful job on this. I really, really love it. Like, all of the Digimon here is representing one of the guys here on the channel currently, whether it's through their favorite Digimon or it's through a profile that they've done here on the site. Like, everything has just been like done beautifully. So you got my friend's favorites, Lewis Monochromon, you got my boys here, Gammamon and Gilmon, you got my other mate Joe's Pawn Chessmons. You got my mate Chris's, Zara's favourite being Beelzemon. My mate Lewis's being Shoutmon. Dale's his first profile's Mastermon. You got my mate Chris's Tentomon and my friend Alex's Gammamon here. And then, as you can see, good close-up on the sleeves. Got all the guys here doing a beautiful, cute little artwork. I love it so much. So again, huge shout-outs to Zara. Again, beautiful work. If you want to get any commissions from her, she takes commissions. You can see her details in the video's description below. You get to see her Instagram, and you get to see all the posts that are she's done previously, as well as message her and get some commissions there, you know. So again, thank you very much, Zara. Love it so much, and I can't wait to use it on all the big events coming up. So, with that little bit done out the way, let's get into today's topic. As you can see from the channel, from the video description, we're going to be talking about my boy Gammamon and all the cards that he has just has had revealed for BT21. Just quickly want to say I can't wait for this support. All these cards are absolutely amazing for the deck, and all have their uses in their own unique ways. I'm going to go through each one individually, explain my overall thoughts on what cards should be used. As you can probably see, I've been sleeving the ones I feel like I'm going to be using them, and I'm going to go through a quick profile on what I currently have built for the Gammamon post BT21 and how I feel like it's going to go. So before I get into all that, if you enjoy this video, give us a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification, because obviously you enjoy posting content here on YouTube. You don't want to miss out on that content, and doing that notification bell helps prevent all of that. And we thank you so much for all the support that you've been giving us, and yeah, I look forward to giving you more stuff in the future. So going through all the list, as you can see, we have basically a whole evolution line going from Gammamon. We even have a Gurumon. We're going from Gammamon all the way up into our Seriousmon here that we currently have revealed. I believe, yep, I have the Gurumon here as well. Yep, so we have Gurumon. And then we even have a new hero tamer. And we actually have our second option for this deck in the game. So starting off with the Gurumon. So the Gurumon, Gammamon, as well as the Seriousmon here and the hero all have the brand new hero trait from the set. The hero trait is basically allowing them to all the cards of the hero trait from all the series protagonists being used in one single deck. And so the Gurumon here is that when attacking once per turn, if it has Gammamon, its text, or the hero trait, you get to draw a card. So if you do like the old BT8 Gurumon, where you get to swing, if you're 6k or more, get to draw a card. This Gurumon is just basically an upgrade. If you like to use that egg, I would definitely be using 4 of this new one, as well as probably 1 of that. You get to have 5 eggs in your deck if you want to go down that draw route. The brand new Gammamon, getting my bearings together, is a 0 cost on a Gurumon, or as it costs 1 on a red and purple egg. He is dual color, which is absolutely amazing, being the first level 3 for the deck to have a dual color. So your turn, when you have 2 or fewer cards in your security, or if you have 3 or more hero traded tamers with different names, you're not going to get that, so you're going to need to have 2 or less security. This Digimon may Digivolve into a Seriousmon in hand for its evolution cost of 4, ignoring its Digivolution requirements. The inherent is just a generic plus 2k on your turn. This card is absolutely amazing. You can do some really wacky, funny things in terms of like game rulings. In the sense that you can go from this into a Seriousmon, use the Seriousmon to tuck one of the old level 5s underneath. And then, as long as you have still the 2 security, you can use the effect again to go from Seriousmon into another Seriousmon if you need to get some additional removal from the field. It's a niche little thing that you can do in this deck. We're mostly using this as basically the brand new way to get a DP buff in this deck. We're no longer going to be using the promo Gammamon anymore, unless you really need that extra DP buffs. Essentially, this guy is replacing that, as you do have the ability to then just warp if you're in a tight spot via this rookie. The brand new Battle Gammamon is basically an upgrade from the RB11, the brand new way that your level 4s are now playing Tamers in this game, where if you have one or fewer Tamers, you may play a hero, a mana card from your hand without paying the cost against another generic 2k buff, and it can evolve for 2 memory on any Gammamon name. Well, that's level 3. Then we have the brand new Gurus Gammamon. He is a 2-cost Evo on a Gammamon name, level 3. He is a security Digimon, so at the end of the battle, he will be playing himself without paying the cost. And he has an on-play when Digivolving, replacing a Digimon card with Gammamon in its name from your hand or trash. As his bottom evolution card, you can delete one of your opponent's level 4 lower Digimon. The inherent is just retail. As you can see through the level 4s, we are actually getting actual inherentables as the level 4s. So you can see they're trying to like branch away from the old playstyle of needing the level 5s to give your main effects as inherentables, which in one way is great, and in some ways it's bad. Once we get to level 5, you'll see why I go from there. Yeah, the new Guru Scanmon's great. I really do like him as well. Then we have the brand new Kind of Ice one. So it can evolve 3 on a Digimon with Gammamon in its name. So on play and when Digivolving by tucking one Digimon card with Gammamon in its text from your hand as its Digimon's bottom evolution cards, you delete one of your opponent's level Digimon with 7k DP or less. The inherence is that when your Digimon will leave with Gammamon's text will leave the battle area other than by one of your opponent's effects, by trashing 3 evolution cards from this Digimon, it does not leave. So as you can see, it does not have the effects of all the Gammamons underneath. So in some cases, this card is absolutely amazing. We're getting some protection in this deck that is outside of the Bokomon, and it actually isn't in inherent protection. But in the other cases, it's bad, as now if you have your deck with all the old Gammamon level 4s, you're actually going to be getting no inherentables whatsoever if this is the only card in your stack. I was testing a previous build where it's just like going one stack build with the brand new Kind of Ice one, and I was noticing that issue quite big. It is quite a big problem in the way that this now new support is trying to divert away from the old style, but the old style is so tightly condensed into the deck's identity that it's actually more of a hindrance than a bonus. You still play it, as you will be seeing later on in the profile, but it's probably going to be at a surprising ratio that you're probably thinking. The new boss monster is Seriousmon, well, the new Seriousmon. He can evolve for 3 memory on anything with Gammamon, its text, or the hero trait. Always it costs 4 to evolve, and as you can see, it has Sec +1. Yes! I've been wanting Security Tap Plus for this deck for so long, as it is in essence a red deck, so it is naturally aggressive, and it has aggressive playstyles. Before, we could only get Sec +1 for the old Kind of Icemon, and it wasn't like native. You needed to meet certain requirements, and the moment you got into level 6, you lost all of that potential. So the fact that we now have a boss monster with Security Tap Blast means that we can actually do quite a lot of damage quite frequently and quite earlier in the game, as opposed to what we were trying to do before. Really love this card. That Security Tap is amazing, but it naturally also has raid as well. So it means that the old piercing Weathering Gammamon actually becomes a little bit more important once you go raid Set Plus with piercing. But yes, when Digivolving and when attacking not once per turn, by placing a Digimon card with Gammamon as text from your hand or the hero trait as its bottom evolution cards delete your opponent's lowest DP Digimon. Absolutely amazing. Clears off boards. You can essentially get 3 removals through this card via first pop on Evo, second pop when attacking, and the actual raid as well. So this guy just clears off stacks, clears off your opponent's field all by himself. The new DP buffs you're going to be getting in this deck means this guy can climb up to huge numbers. So I really, really, really like this card. I'll save probably the best one for last. We're going to go into the new hero Manakawa. He's a hero trait, costs 4 to play. Start of the main. If you have a Digimon card, if your opponent has a Digimon card, you do gain a memory. And then your turn, when effects places Digivolution cards under any of your Digimon with Gammamon in his text or the hero trait. By suspending his tamer, you can draw a card and gain a memory. So it's essentially the same benefits you're going to be getting from the RB1 hero, but now you need to have the action being done elsewhere, as opposed to the hero doing the whole action himself, tucking card underneath to gain 1, draw 1. This one, you need to have something else doing it. I personally don't play it right now. I'll explain that as I go through the profile. I'll go through the things I'm not currently playing and reasonings why I'm doing so. But yeah, we do have a new hero Manakawa. And going to the best card of this deck, the strongest of brothers. Love this new option card. So it's a free cosplay option card. While you have a Digimon or Tamer with Gammamon in its text on the field, you may ignore this card's color requirements. Main, reveal top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Gammamon in its text from among them to your hand, and return the rest of the bottom of your deck, then place this into the battle area. We finally have our own Mem boost. We finally have our own consistency card for the deck via an option card, which I do love. Yes, we've had consistencies in before via the Gammamon and Pokemon, but the fact that we now have it as an option card just means that we now have like all the pieces we need for a deck, or modern deck. All turns. When effects places Digivolution cards under your Digimon delay, one of your Digimon may Digivolve into Gammamon text card in your hand without paying the cost. The security effect is you may play 1 card with Gammamon in its text and a play cost of 4 or less from your hand or trash without paying cost and place this into the battle area. This effect and this card is the best thing to come out of this whole support. Like, I could have got none of this. All of this could have had no abilities whatsoever. This card alone saves Gammamon as a deck. And I'll get into it in the profile. So those are the brand new cards currently revealed as of recording this video for the deck. I'm hoping we get at least a new Chaos Gammamon and a Wesen Gammamon as well in this set. That will, like, in theory, fill off the as filler cards for the extra colors in a set that it needs. So I do hope that we get those cards. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get the rest of the Dark Evolution line and the level 7. I feel like it is just going to be these kind of cards. But yeah, I'm hoping we do get the rest of them. But yes, let's wrap this and move on to the profile, and I'll explain my reasonings why each additional card that's going in this deck is good for this deck. So I'll be back in a minute. And we're back. So let's go through the profile as I normally do with profiles. Babies first, and then I'll explain to you my reasonings for why the new cards are in the deck. So I'm going to go through the old cards that we currently have nice and quickly, because we essentially all know what these cards do. So I'm playing 4 copies of the RB1 Gurimon, playing 4 copies of the RB1 Gammamon, 4 copies of the brand new BT21 Gammamon, 2 copies of the BT8 Gammamon, 2 copies of the RB1 806 or Promo 58 Gammamon, 2 copies of the LM18 Pokemon, and then we have 4 copies of the BT21 Battle Gammamon, 2 copies of RB1 Wesen Gammamon, 1 BT9 Chaos Gammamon, 1 BT8 Battle Gammamon, 1 RB1 Gurus Gammamon, 1 BT10 Wesen Gammamon, and 1 BT21 Gurus Gammamon. Then we have 3 copies of the RB1 Kanavaismon, 1 copy of BT16 Zemetsumon, 2 copies of BT21 Kanavaismon, 2 copies of the LM17 Regulusmon Ace, 3 copies of the BT21 Seriousmon, 2 copies of the LM01 Seriousmon Ace, 2 copies of RB1 Arcturusmon, 2 copies of RB1 Proximamon, and then we have 4 copies of RB1 Hero, and 4 copies of BT21, the Strongest of Brothers. So move all these cards up here so you can have a good look at the whole deck as a whole. So most of the old stuff in this list is kind of self-explanatory. You have all of the consistency cards that you need in your deck, being the Gammamon and the Pokemon. We have the extra draw power through the BT8 Gammamon and the Gurimons as well from RB1. The reason I've gone for the RB1 Gurimon over the BT8 Gurimon and the BT21 Gurimon is because we're doing a lot of the tucking action in this deck. So we have a lot of times where we want to get the draw power before we start doing our swings. So having the Gurimon allowing us to do that via our tucking effects of the level 5s and the level 6s and the Hero Tamer himself means that we can get that draw power earlier in our turns before we start suspending and essentially triggering our opponent's ace timings. The new Battle Gammamon overall is just better than the RB1 Gammamon. You're not going to be missing the raid so much as because we have now raid natively on our Seriousmon. So missing that raid from like your level 5s is just like negligible essentially. So being able to just freely play essentially 2 tamers of the Battle Gammamon if you can get it off. You can even do a line of going to battle playing a tamer, then evolving into our old level 5s, getting the effects to play another tamer. You just get more consistent presence of your tamers via the new Battle Gammamon than we did with the old Battle Gammamon, and having more DP buffs via the level 4s natively via inheritables, whereas with the old Battle Gammamon we didn't get that at all. It's just a lot more convenient for the deck. I like taking 1 copy of the new Goose Gammamon as it does help remove smaller threats on your opponent's field in the early game, and maybe potentially in the late game if they're trying to go a little bit wider to secure a game win. You can get to your Goose Gammamon, pop a thing, go into your level 5, get the effect again, pop another thing, go into your level 6, get that effect again, pop another thing. You can get 3 sources of removal of your opponent's lower bodies via this new Goose Gammamon, and having a native retaliation means that you can get that consistent threat pressure of that ability a bit more actively. I explained it briefly in the overview of the card itself, but the new Gammamon from BT21 is just an overall better DP buff than the promo one, as we now have a native ability upon himself that we can also get to our level 6s and our level 5s if we're in a clutch scenarios. I like having warp potential in the deck. As you know, I've always been a big fan of the RB1 Kanavaismon. Having that warp ability in your deck means that you can progressively get from your lower stages to your higher stages much faster than most average decks, giving you, for your considering being a rogue deck, that little bit edge over the other decks in the game. Moving on into probably the biggest what is only 2 copies of the brand new Kanavaismon. As I was saying before, not having the ability from these guys that these guys share, giving the abilities to your top end, really hinders this Kanavaismon's potential within the deck as you're trying to build structure. I mentioned before, the deck's identity is passing the main abilities to your higher ends via these level 5s. And the fact that this level 5 can't do that himself and needs to have these guys doing the work for him is a big hindrance in your stack building if you're trying to just go for a big linear stack play with the new support. You can play like that. My friend Ben is also is playing that kind of strategy, but I feel like you're missing a lot of Gammamon's power and its actual identity, which is its power, while you're trying to do that. And the identity and the ability that you're missing by going that is from going wide. Having the Regulus aces in your deck allows your deck to go that little bit wider on the field, giving your opponent more pressure and more stuff to think about as they're trying to combat you. Your main stack's going big, while with the help of these are going a little bit wide, but the ability that this and this allowing you to tuck on your opponent's turn makes this card much more of a deadly threat that your opponent now has to deal with. As I said, it has an all turns ability for the delay. So if your opponent swings thinking you're not going to have an ace timing or not knowing what this card does, when you do ace into one of these guys, they on Digivolve tuck a source underneath, allowing you to now proc your strongest of brothers, allowing you to go from a level 5 to maybe a level 6 to remove another threat, or if you're going from a level 6 to your level 7. Now they have to deal with a big 15k level 7, which if something gets deleted, he gets to spawn something back. So really, really powerful ability to use these aces in your deck. Once this new support comes out, and I really want to advise, don't look over these cards. The protection that this card gives you is amazing, and we can just keep abusing it with our Proximamon, with our Hero Monocana, with our Regulusmon Ace, with our Arcturusmon. We have many ways to get sources back from the trash. So once you've used it once, if you had to strip it, you're going to get it back. The new Siriusmon, as I said, is like the best boss monster in our deck now, being able to raid natively, security attack +1, and 2 forms of instances of removal. Makes this card absolutely amazing boss monster. We still need to play the Arcturusmon, we still need to play the Siriusmon Ace in my personal opinion, and we still need to play the Proximamon. You could go 4 copies of the kind of Icemon from RB1, but I do like the ability that Zephyrwargames does give for the Digivolving. The Digivolving is one of the strongest forms of removal in the game, outside of DP reduction. Unfortunately, our DP reduction isn't high enough, so I'm going for the Digivolve. RB1 hero is the best hero in the deck. You could go with a Memsetter if you so wish, and you can go with the BT21 one if you need that additional memory and draw power. I personally think having the setup for this to make this card live, I might as well just, go full out on this and just only play this. And then lastly, the best card in the deck is the Strongest of Brothers, giving you that consistency that we needed, giving us the delay to go into our higher stages a lot more faster and for free, which is absolutely amazing. Yeah, this card is absolutely phenomenal. It needs to be at 4 of. But guys, that's my overview and my deck profile quickly for Gammamon post BT21. I do hope you all enjoy it. I'm really excited for these cards to come out. I can't wait to get my hands on them when they officially come into the game. BT21 could not get here any sooner, in my personal opinion. So, as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy these overview videos for decks and Digimon that I personally enjoy or have a strong connection to. I had to do it with Gammamon first. Who knows, if you enjoy this and want to see more of this, and if you want me to do one for the new Guilmon support from the Digimon, do post that down below. Then I'll get that done for you guys. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, as always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.